What's up, AfterBuzzers? Welcome to the American Gods After Show. We're talking Season 2, Episode 3, Muninn. We get some road tripping with Shadow with a new character that who knows if something else will happen with them. And we get new media and a special something regarding that character. Stay tuned.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
What's up, AfterBuzzers? We're talking American Gods season. I'm like, what are we on? 2. Just kidding. It's one of those like, can we have more? We have more, right?
Have more,
yes.
Season
2, Episode 3, Muninn. My name is Kari Lane. I'm joined by my awesome co-host,
Flobo, Boyce. Thank you so much for keeping me a part of your second screen experience.
Yes. Or as in the worshiping of new media.
Right. Yeah.
Exactly.
We'll get to that.
Yes. Yeah. All right. We're going to go through kind of via the most stuff that happens, or least to most. Right. So we got Sweeney at our beginning. Oh, actually, I'm sorry. Before we get going, what did you think of this episode?
Oh, definitely a lot of stories were advanced in this one.
Yes.
We're kind of at a slower pace a bit.
Yes.
Maybe you can't have an explosion every single week, but or we did it. We kind of started off that with the Black Betty revival, but definitely was more of a character-based moment, so it was fine.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, we had a comment before of some people like, ooh, pacing on the show. The show is a slow burn show. I think we got enough interesting things that I'm like, no, I'm invested. I want to know where this is going.
For sure.
And yeah, we're not maybe having the crazy stuff yet, but it's building up to that. So
We did get some crazy today, though.
Yes,
Some crazy images today.
We do. Yes. All right. So yes, we got Sweeney first. Man, that guy cannot catch a break.
I know. He wanted to go to New Orleans, and he was kind of hoping the coin would be near him. And when Laura decided to go with Mr. Wednesday,
Nope. Peace out.
everything else was just downhill after that, right?
Oh, that poor guy. Because we had him. Oh yeah, he said, "Yeah, come with me," and she's all, "No, peace out." And he has first the trying to get the car, and then with the dog.
Right. I mean, I was like, oh man, maybe he's gonna walk away and get caught stealing.
Yes.
But like, hey, he's looking out. The keys are in the dad. You can't go wrong with that. And then turn around.
I was wondering who'd be in the mirror when he did it. And it's like, oh, it's the dog.
Right.
And his scream was so good.
So
I feel
manly.
bad for him.
Yeah.
Yes. And then he has trying to do the boat stealing. Man, I was just waiting for an alligator to be in the water next.
I
That'd
know.
be the next one.
That was totally right off like the Stooges, right? It was like he drops the thing in the water, and then his cigarette causes a fire. And he was like, man, if someone told me what's the worst thing that possibly happened in a day, getting almost burned alive was pretty much up there. Or the alligator, right? That was the second option.
Because he tried to like get off the boat or something. I wanted that moment where he looks and there's an alligator and him really to be like, ah!
Yeah. Props to the actor, probably there for this Home Alone 2 like pratfall.
Oh
when
man,
he steps on the,
so bad for that guy. And yeah, just no luck. But then he gets picked up by some religious folk.
Well, he got hit by a bus.
Almost. This is true.
And you're just like, oh man, maybe they'll like throw some mud on him or something. But no, it's a rock band. They're going to where he's going. You're like, this is great. And he looked him dead in the eye and was like, do you accept Lord Jesus Christ?
And he goes like, ugh. I always was wondering if there are other kind of worshipers. I'm like, oh, what are these hippies? And then, in a rock band, kind of? Yeah.
Right.
Oh, man.
It's like a fancy bus, but you have to listen to a lecture on the way over there.
Yes.
So.
At least he could have an entertaining ride. I just wonder how much further he has to go.
Yeah.
In terms of like, is he stuck with them a long time or is this going to be,
right?
All right, just an hour or something. And then we got Salim and our Jinn going to see Iktomi. And what do you think of that Corn Palace, what it really is?
Oh, well, before I would have said when they rode up to it was so cute seeing them together in the sidecar.
Oh, I love the sidecar.
It's like going to Home Depot on the weekend with your significant
yes.
other, Yeah, I was thrown off a bit because there was a whole strip club thing. I was like, all right, cool. I mean, that makes sense where our God would hang out in plain sight. But that whole back room was a whole different experience, right?
Yes. I like that it's a random strip club and you go, okay. And it was such an interesting interaction with the Jinn and him of Iktomi of, oh yeah, you're, doesn't work on me or whatever. But it seemed to build him up like he's going to be way scarier or devious. And it felt like underwhelming almost.
Yeah.
And we got Salim on the side go, hi, I'm Salim.
Yeah, exactly. Don't worry
What's
about him.
up?
He's my boo. I mean, time will tell with Iktomi, but I really, especially this play with the vegetation, right?
Yes.
But yeah, as of right now, I wasn't too afraid or too scared of the guy. Maybe he has like a gotcha power or something.
Yeah, well, because then they get the gun mirror, but then he gives them the plant.
Yeah.
That has Do we have any thoughts on what that is yet?
No idea.
Me too.
I thought you had. I had nothing going. I was like,
No,
what could that be?
I'm not at that part or read that, so I'm like, I don't know what
It's
it
like
is.
that, like a Zelda game. You get the sting, you're like, oh, I don't know what this is, and then like later on, you're like, oh, I totally get it. That key I need.
So I wonder if it can grow later or has. He had mentioned like poisons, kind of. So I wonder if it could be something like that.
Yeah.
That's a good question. Don't know yet. Then we have, that's kind of it with them, because then they get the weapon they wanted and then they're gone.
Sure.
We had a lot of like quick stories with some people in this one,
Yeah.
but just spread out in little bits and pieces. All right, then we have Shadow. Poor Shadow also can't get a break.
That's for sure.
Because he wakes up, and what'd you think of those opening shots with like that kind of chaos? We had the horse in the flames and the Odin over dialogue of, be proud and trying. It looked like he was almost underground, like under the dirt coming out.
Right.
Did you get that?
Before that when we started off with the recap of the eulogy of Betty and saying you're a berserker, and I'm looking at what a berserker is, and it was kind of like the Odin had him in his army, and so I was like, all right, cool, it's kind of a nice thing. But you have the interspersion of Shadow and his pain and strife, but it looks like he survived it, but now he's being abandoned on some level. Everyone's kind of going about their own thing, and so I think that was kind of like getting us back into, oh yeah, how did last week end? Where's Shadow? Where's Mr. World? Or Mr. Town in this case.
Yes.
And what's Shadow gonna do after that? So.
Yeah, because Wednesday keeps saying to everybody else, like, don't worry, I have faith in him, and clearly you don't. But you're leaving him behind.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's a bit too much faith. If I'm ever injured, please don't have faith in me. Please pick me up.
Please help me out.
Call me an Uber or
Yes.
something,
And poor guy's just stumbling everywhere, and it's the crows that are talking to him. So I don't know if I trust. Seems a little devious of why don't you speak plainly? Here,
Right.
go here. Meet me there. Oh, there's our crows. Yes, we get our
Exactly.
Muninn talking, and he just hears it. I've got to go to Cairo,
Right.
but Cairo.
Cairo, yeah. A funny thing that
The Egyptians.
you have these crows that are not, they're giving him riddles, and the poor guy's fell off the side of a cliff and hit his head a couple times. I really thought at first it was like a sequence. Like
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
that's the same thing. I thought it was like a sequence, or maybe it didn't happen, but that led Shadow on his path to find out why Cairo was so important to him, which was pretty sick.
Oh, Hugin and Mugen. Muninn and Hugin. Those are their names of the two crows that Odin has.
Okay.
So if you have noticed them.
I cannot begin to pronounce that. It's like when someone rolls their R's in Spanish, it's like,
Well, the H one is Huginn, and then Muninn is Muninn. Yes, it's definitely one of those like, okay, what?
Right.
But yes, poor Shadow. And him at the convenience store. Look at him trying to sweet talk that cashier of, oh, let me put that down. But you know what? Any good cashier, okay, you gave me a 10, you say it out loud.
Right.
So that you can show, like, you didn't give me that.
Right. You know what? This is a nice call back to season 1,
Yes.
having Shadow being that low-level grifter, even though he was not good at it back then, and he wasn't good at it now.
Yes.
I think he almost got away with it. I was like,
I think he almost did.
totally was smooth. She was like, oh, charmed by the guy. And he's
Yeah.
kind of a looker. I mean, not as attractive as me, guys, but he's up there. And I thought he was going to be off scot-free. But then he was met by Sam.
Yes, I did like that. I'm like, oh, girl got him. And she's like, I'll take $20 on my car. He's like, crap.
Yeah, exactly. I like how he so easily folds. Like,
Yeah, he goes,
you got me.
okay.
It's the worst
yeah.
bad guy ever.
Maybe it's because he had been in jail already. So if you put up that much of a fight, it might be a problem.
That's true.
True.
Because is jail
True.
still a thing you worry about? If you've seen like buffalo heads and gins and, well, not gins, but like Mr. Wednesday and stuff, and is that something you still like, is that still in the back of your mind? Like, oh my gosh, that's a threat. If you've seen time and space actually bend?
I think he's still not 100% full believer. He doesn't understand it all.
Fair
Similar to Laura, which we'll get to that too.
Yeah.
So we get the girl, and which we learn later is Sam Blackcrow, and she says she's of the two spirits, which I actually remember that as a really interesting segment in a culture anthropology class of how talking about in some cultures that is revered in terms of you are able to tap into not just one thing, it's more than one. So I thought that was an interesting character to throw in. Some people in the chat, hello everybody in the chat. Thank you so
Hey.
much for joining us. And if you're watching this later, awesome. Please leave comments down below. Thank you so much on previous videos. We had lots of comments.
Oh, yeah.
Love hearing your theories. Oh my gosh. And then can you look up the road one? Someone had the theory last time about the road.
Yeah,
Oh
I'll
my
do it for
goodness.
you.
And we'll tell you that in a moment. But I liked her character. A couple of you were a little mixed, so please let us know what you think. Do we like Sam Blackcrow, or was it kind of a waste? Do we want more of this character? I thought she was interesting, but I would kind of hope there'd be more to it. But then again, I do think she served the function of giving the reference of not necessarily believing in gods, but believing in your ancestors.
Sure.
Which is another thing.
The quote you pulled up
Yeah.
last week, Davis404 said, "The highways are new gods. They're impeding dead wife and man Sweeney, cow, nail, then those failing, Hail Mary pastors remove the road."
Yes, love that theory. I was
Yeah.
like that. I hadn't even thought of the roads of being a god, but it makes sense. If we drive everywhere nowadays, it is something, the open road totally makes sense. And as we've learned, anything we think about a lot, worship, though that's a very loose word
Yeah.
in these cases, can be a god, which is kind of cool.
It's true, because we always say things like, well, I'm going cross town, hope the traffic gods
Yeah.
are nice, or the parking gods are nice. But on the
Yeah.
topic of Sam, I like the idea of her expressing her truth, right?
Mm-hmm.
Having the twin spirits and stuff, but like, Shadow is so past that. He's like thinking, "Are you a god? Let me
I
know.
loved him
Do you have
asking that.
buffalo eyes?" It's like, it was kind of cool. How he was kind of like, I gotta make sure what and who you are first.
With the world he's living in, I thought that was a legit question. I liked
Yeah.
her kind of, yeah, dude, whatever.
Right.
We have Krista in the chat pointing out, I think she'll be back. The actress mentioned returning for something on Twitter. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But then Adam Morales added, I liked her, but I don't know if we'll see her again. So, Trent King, I like this, but they're constantly littering on the highway gods. True. They keep throwing things out the window. We got the chicken, a phone.
Right.
And I feel there's been some other things.
Yeah. So support your local highway cleanup, or adopt a highway if you can.
Exactly. So that was great. Oh, yeah. So she's going to help take Shadow to Cairo. And then, where did that go? Oh,
K-Row.
Cairo. And, also because, another side note, going with our theories that we've said of what Shadow's relationship is to Wednesday, if they have one, she has a conversation about being a half-breed,
Yes.
which was a cool conversation of her dad was full Cherokee and her mom is not.
Right.
And what's that like growing up for that? And Shadow could relate of he only knows his mom, so technically, and he knows he's not fully something.
Sure.
Even just not having a father present, he doesn't have that sense of the two parents there his whole life.
Good point. Because I think if you don't have that side of the story, you always wonder, what if, or what am I,
Yes. Story of the ancestors gets him to the Egyptians. Egyptians. It's Egypt. It's one of those things you say Egyptian, but it's E.
Egypt, yeah, I guess so.
Egypt.
Well, like
Anyway, regional accents.
Egypt, yeah.
But Wednesday's there, which we will hold on to for a second. Then we have.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Before we go on to our
sure.
next topic, I just want to thank you all for making us the ESPN of TV talk. So for us to continue, we need your help. If you're on YouTube right now, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe, and if you're on iTunes, please give us a 5-star rating, because
It matters.
And
And 1
stuff-
through 4 don't work.
that's it. But no matter where you are, leave us a comment so you can get involved in the conversation. Being a part of AfterBuzz TV has meant so much to each and every single one of us, and we truly appreciate you supporting us and doing what we love. So don't forget to tell your friends or a couple of your haters, and keep enjoying our shows.
Yes, and keep leaving the comments. Absolutely love reading through everybody's comments and theories on everything. Bryce, 23 in the chat, points out Shadow should have realized it by now. I think so too.
Yeah.
Or at least asked
Realize
directly.
what, Karen?
Well, I don't want to give it away, but
Okay, I'm just saying.
somebody commented on the last video.
He said
their theory
realize
on
what
Yes.
it could be.
Well, we haven't concrete decided that yet.
Fair enough.
Yes. Then we have Evis. I love the character of Evis, but
Yeah.
I miss our Once Upon a Time in America stories.
Yeah, I
They've
guess
kind
as
of
you
gone
know,
away.
yeah, I guess if you're introduced them already, it's like, yeah, they're there.
I
But
want more of them.
those two are my favorite, only because they're so deliberate in what they do and meticulous with it. Well, I guess you kind of have
Jackal,
to. Yeah, I mean,
Jackal and Evis.
Jackal and Evis too. They're
Yes.
just very particular. Like, he's sitting there saying, "Hey, look, this is our tradition. This is what we do. Don't mind me while I munch on this.
While I
we're-
eat you."
Right. We're going to do this
And
process.
not in a good way.
Yeah, I guess if
Boom,
you
boom.
got it.
Hey, it's an
Family-
adult show,
Yeah,
so
it definitely is. I just
which
didn't
we
catch
have
that.
something of that happens later too.
That is definitely
It's
true.
true.
We'll get to that.
We'll get to that.
But to me, they have an opportunity, or it would have been a bad opportunity if they were just like, we're, like being all flamboyant with it.
Yeah.
The fact that they're reserved just adds a bit more depth to what gods are here.
I do like that, they're so matter of fact of this is just how it is. Like, they're the most even keel people of the show.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
okay, we're just going to stay here. Though I did like it when Jackal got so surprised and upset that Laura didn't die. He's
Right.
like, whoa, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Like, this is going against
This
everything
is
I know.
what I do. You go
Yeah.
through the door, you go in the hole. What's going
Like,
on?
it's done. Or go in the hot tub, which will be her
Yeah.
doom. Yes. Ibis, yes, repairing Laura, and mentions though if she doesn't get something done different, she only has another week, that's a timeline, because we were kind of wondering like how long is it going to be before like she literally rots, which she said too.
Right.
Then he points out, you've changed. You believe in. She goes, I believe in shadow.
Right.
Which.
We don't know. I mean, Wednesday looking at her like, you sure? And then
he ragged on her this whole episode.
Yes.
Like, hey, you sure? Uh-huh.
Finally, I'm sitting there watching it like, look, man, I'm sure Laura has some redeeming qualities. I mean, I'm skipping ahead a bit. And I know she has some good qualities, but when it seemed what got her to the point where she passed away, it seemed that she was into the Laura business. She may like the guy, but if you are seeing nothing but black and white and muted colors, and one person happens to be your husband and the sign of gold, okay, I love him. But do you really? And that's the question Wednesday was getting her about. So
it's one of those where self-love goes bad.
Right, exactly.
Only cares about the self. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yes, this is where we have Wednesday tells her we need to go to the Argus to recharge the coin.
Yes.
Which we don't get a lot of information. I do like Ibis is like, who? Wait, which one? Oh yes, Argus.
Yeah.
Pen Pates. I wrote my notes too fast. But I thought that was interesting for that. And Soulmate Experience says, don't forget about Bilquist. She's my favorite, no doubt. Yes, we haven't seen her in a little bit. And then Trent King says, was he eating? Yeah, I think he was eating her skin and maybe some of the maggots, though the maggots eat dead skin, but all of her's dead. So I think he probably removed the parts
Correct.
that were like the shoulder, like took back a layer and was eating that to essentially quote unquote clean it.
Right.
I guess. And it's part of the ritual. And then, most people aren't alive to witness it.
Yeah, that's what I assumed too. But you mentioned she's been dead wholesale for weeks now. I don't know. But yeah, definitely the area right around the active area around the maggots. So it's the one he singled out.
I want to say both. Yeah. Oh, good point. Fandom D Saint says, I question if it was her or the maggots, but if it was the maggot, she wouldn't care. Yeah, she was kind of like, you're eating me. So I think he was eating her skin and flesh.
Right.
Flesh, which is a good creepy word with her.
Flesh.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, it's more horror because you don't say that. I mean, I guess I don't know, like to describe skin and you're eating it or whatever.
Right.
Like a
words
monster.
that sound dirty but not. Flesh.
Yeah. Kinda.
Tidbit.
It's like moist. That one's a weird word that some people have like.
Yeah, moist.
We talk about all things on American Gods because they cover everything in these shows.
Mm-hmm.
So then Ibis finishes up with Laura. This is your timeline, and then Laura and Wednesday goes, you can come with me to go take care of this, or you can go to Sweeney, tell Sweeney peace out.
Right.
Which I was a little surprised, but not really that she went
I
with him.
kind of was surprised too. I mean, I would love to see a New Orleans adventure, but the fact that she was like, I've been with this guy, he's not getting any closer. I'm going with it. But he looked legitimately hurt. Sweeney looked like he was.
Because I'm still shipping them.
You're still shipping them.
I'm still shipping
even
Sweeney
after
and Laura. Yeah.
The Christian bus tour of doom.
Well, he might survive enough.
Okay.
We'll see. And actually, speaking of like getting somewhere, though, Wednesday has his line earlier on the quickest way is the longest. So it's pretty much for Shadow trying to go the longest way to get to what he needs to be.
Okay.
Or do.
Right.
The very broad sense of that, and maybe hinting at what he could be later.
Sure. Real quick, Crystal Brett in the chat says definitely felt that Laura went with Wednesday to get back at Sweeney for not standing up to Wednesday. See the cowardly lion crack.
Yes.
Good eye. Good eye.
Yes. Kristen, hashtag mad wife. Yes. I also like hashtag dead wife.
Dead wife.
Dead wife. Not. Oh yeah. Poor Sweeney is not doing great. That was my other note. I said, oh, Sweeney. Yes. And, Edis mentions also that gods fall victim to their thirst for worship, which I like that too.
That was deep.
Which is true of or people, and then later tying into new media, our thirst for the attention of checking your phone. Did you get those likes? Did somebody comment and everything?
Yeah.
So as we're telling you, please comment on our videos.
Yeah. Without that, we're not relevant, so we need to be.
We're just speaking into the void.
So let's talk about Mr. Wednesday. I mean, today, going to see Argus and using maybe a strong word, but including Lauren's plan for her to get that recharge and him dealing with Argus. Even though her surviving was not part of his plan, do you think now she is part of another plan that Mr. Wednesday has cooked up? Or is it kind of a means to an end in this episode where it's kind of like, just do that and then you figure it out. Bye.
I think he's had to reorganize his plans because he probably has more than one and has to account for her because the fact she's still around.
Right.
That he's like, well, damn, you're still here.
Damn.
I have to rethink of how this is going to go down.
I would hate that if I walk into a room and someone's like, damn, you ain't dead.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, you're still here?
shoot.
I tried to kill you already. Right. Yes. Then we have, I think he's rearranged his plans for her.
Okay.
Yes.
So then my next question is, at the end, when you're like, we're square, peace out. Do you think he's trying to make another follower, disciple out of Laura? Or do you really think that he had another thing up his sleeve?
No, I don't think he's trying to make another follower out of her. I think he has his thing of he's just constantly trying to push her away. There it is. Yeah, because he asks her later when they're going after Argus, what is your mission? Like, what do you really want? But he keeps trying to, like, plant that seed of doubt, too, and make her not happy with herself, though she wasn't. And you're not the woman Shadow fell in love with, and just trying to make her leave. So I'm wondering if he's just trying to get her to leave on her own accord, But
Fair enough.
hard to say.
Hard to say.
So we also get him. What do you think of the story? We didn't have our Once Upon a Time in America moment, but we did have our Zeus and Io story about Argus and how that became the god of surveillance and could be the new gods. I like the. I was like, oh,
Zoetrope?
yes, we're showing the animation essentially of the Egyptian gods, which was kind of cool. What did you think of that? We didn't get like a full before, but it's still like a different way to tell that story.
Gotcha. First of all, hot take: Zeus keeping your pants. Second of all,
Right?
I thought he just yeah, exactly. Definitely a tragic story all around about Princess Io or Suitor's Io and Argus. But then it kind of leaves the door open because you don't really know what Argus is. You don't know if he's like an old god. In fact, he was dealt with Zeus directly, or because it's surveillance. And surveillance has evolved, and he's worked with the new god so much. Like, what was his alliance's stand? And I think that was what the crux of today's episode was. Whereas usually you'll have a god who's a free agent, I guess. And like the old gods, Bryan, Mr. Wednesday, and the new gods would say, join us, join us, join us. But Mr. Wednesday was not having it this week. He's just like,
I'll just kill you and get rid of you. Makes it easier.
Yeah. That was kind of.
I think Argus was definitely one of the old gods because he's an old god, but he morphed and became more compatible with the new gods.
Right.
But clearly had some issues with them, which we'll get to in a moment too. But I think it's probably smart for Wednesday to take him out in terms of if he feels they're a threat. That person is a threat. So we'll see. I like Bryce. Odin's a manipulative asshole. He's the devil. Yeah. I definitely think he's very manipulative, for sure. And just wants Odin away from Shadow, which I agree with that too. And, oh yes. Which leads us into, speaking of Argus having an upgrade, we have, which kind of blends into our characters. There's timelines. We have technology, world, and they're talking about the upgrade and not the surveillance, and build a new world on the ruins of the old. So we get a little bit of our Mr. World, and Technology Boy is being a brat as always.
Right.
And it's just so, oh my goodness, he's so annoying. We want him gone. Actually, I'm sorry. I was like, wait, I forgot that other part. With rewind to Wednesday, did you like that sacrifice with the cow and Io of you're beautiful, kind, and your lover will remember you forever, and change requires sacrifice?
I mean, I like the idea that change requires sacrifice. In fact, I wrote it down. I was like, that's definitely going on my vision board. But seeing a cow being slit down the throat was kind of, well, I can't say surprising. We're in season 2 now. But it was kind of intense to see this poor cow just being like cut by a god who thanks him, but is also ruthless enough to do it.
Yes. That was kind of surprising because we talk about sacrifice, which I feel later we would almost have a sacrifice, which is, which we'll say in a minute because I think that would be my predictions for next time. So we have, back to our technology, we have our birth.
Yes.
Of new media.
Yes, not just regular media. It's brand new.
Which somebody was saying earlier that essentially that's almost a little dated now too.
Yeah.
Just even of how our technology keeps changing, which is true, and media keeps changing, and how we consume media. Yeah. But I thought that was such a fun appearance for her of how she came out of this wall of technology,
Sure.
the screen essentially. And what did you think of our introduction of new media?
I was definitely pleased. Classic media, or we say old media now for reference.
Yeah.
Last season's media definitely played a longer game. After the end of the first season, looking back, I was like, wow, this is great. Great performances, great choices. New media opens that up, especially now, and you'll see that even mentioned today. It's getting very, very close to Technical Boys and his expertise, and
Yes.
where does media fit in, and how does it evolve? Because it isn't something you can just ascertain. You can't say, oh, that's just Odin. Media is like this giant, like amoeba, and how it changes.
Yes.
So the idea was able to evolve. Something completely different than last season was so much cool.
Yes, I think it's a really interesting and very now way to take it for sure, because the book was written a while ago, so even technology had to change his character, and now with media it's changed as well. Like we can watch stuff on the palm of our hand, which media does mention before in season 1, so it's kind of nice to see the visual change of a new character. And then on logistics, it's a good way to help with casting in terms of like, okay, we can have that actor, but then it goes, oh yeah, that totally makes sense. It'd be new media.
Right.
And then, which also ties, this is going to go kind of parallel because it happens. Speaking of media and truth and technology information, what did you think of when Wednesday was telling Laura that truth with Argus is not really right or wrong? It's just, he doesn't care like how you understand it.
Yeah.
What do you think of that?
Very poignant, and it's very like relevant now. I
Yeah.
know that we all talk about echo chambers and size, and this is outside of television. This is outside of your real world and real life. But ultimately, the real war, the real power is information. This
Yes.
person knows how to do X, and you don't.
Yes.
You know?
And then speaking of that, we have new media and technology. When I like how she goes, yeah, it's kind of redundant to have both of them in there. It's like,
Is it going to be a stabbing? There
Right.
was, but I thought
Yes.
one of them would have stabbed each
are
other.
they going to go down? Yes.
Yeah.
So with Argus, I liked that Wednesday and Laura were there kind of at the same time, kind of hiding.
Right.
And he's like, here, take care of this. So I'm like, yes, I knew it was going to go this way too. When they had new media go up to Argus of her, say, let me try this. And as soon as we had cords and cables, come on, we all go, really? Where are you going to put those? Were you surprised? I wasn't surprised. I was kind of thinking, it's going to happen.
I was surprised. I thought that she was going to use her sensuality, and because you're just this guy on this chair forever, and no one's really coming at you like that. I thought he'd been okay with it, and maybe I would have been okay with a cord, like graciously like giving it a side bro hug. But what we got was a lot more advanced.
Well, it's the very Evil Dead tree, and this one I would go. What did you all think of that? I think it makes sense of if you're going literally, and if they're an object and plugging in of. Okay, sure.
Yeah.
Just definitely one of those, oh, hi, what's up? I like Kristen in the chat pointing out, I like the K-pop feel of new media. I mean, K-pop is huge globally. I like her manipulation contrast to Odin's old school style. Yes. I think she goes, hey, this isn't working. We need to try a different way. And Trent goes, that skirt came in handy. I know, right? That was my thing of a wardrobe choice of like, well.
Can I give an audience award? This is pretty cool.
Yes. Also, Bryce, Octopus Hentai. Yes, that was another fun one.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah. And we have Laura kill Argus, and she goes, it's not happening. And then, oh, just hold on, patient. And then, alive, sort of.
Right, so
Recharge.
That's what I was mentioning a bit before, because she got the first time of her being reborn or breathing without Shadow, and then you have Odin walking away being like, we're square, right? So, deuces. And she's like, you just can't up and leave. We got more. We have
She's
more
like,
to
I
think.
can't be left here by myself. I'm
Right.
curious how she'll get out of there. I know she will.
Yeah, for
She's
sure.
a very determined person.
But it made me thinking, like, maybe this is someone who won't, like, necessarily leave and say, hey, look, this can't happen forever. How do I keep this for myself? What do I do? It can't be just for Shadow, because he's doing his own adventures.
Because I wonder then if she would learn it isn't necessarily just him, but then again, she sees him as a bright ball of light. That'd be hard to ignore that.
Right.
So
It's a source, not this
we'll
source.
see. We will see. Renji said in the chat, some people are actually technosexually. Yeah, I mean, some people think technology is sexy, so sure.
Yeah, all right.
It's one of those, this show goes all over the place. I'm not surprised. So
knock
actually,
it.
speaking of new media, we have a very special little video message for you guys from new media herself, Kaeon Kim. And here we go.
Hi guys, this is Diane. I play New Media in American Gods. Nice to meet everyone. I'm so excited for everyone to finally meet New Media. I have been a big fan of Neil and the American Gods TV show, so when I heard I was cast as New Media, I was so excited. And you guys finally get to meet her. I hope everyone enjoys tonight's episode. I wish I was there with you. I'm actually doing a play right now off-Broadway called Daddy, written by Jeremy O. Harris. So if you're in New York, come check it out. But because of that, I can't be there in person at the studio to watch that episode with you guys. But maybe if you pray hard enough, in a couple of weeks, I could be there with y'all. I don't know. It depends how much you want it. I hope you guys enjoyed tonight's episode. Can't wait to see what you guys think.
Yay! Thank you so much, Kayan. Oh, I love that.
I want an
That was
autograph.
cute. We actually hadn't seen it beforehand, so I was like,
Yeah.
what she said? So, yay. So if you guys pray hard enough, she might be able to come to the studio.
How do you pray to New Media? Do you like have new social media accounts? Is there an altar somewhere?
You're right. If you want to follow her on Twitter, let me pull it and grab it right now. It's KAHYUN, Kim, KIM 257. So, yes.
That's really cool.
Yes.
Really
I think
cool.
it's a fun new character. I really am curious to see where it goes. All right. Any other thoughts on this episode before we do some predictions?
Sure. So the one thing I thought was kind of a throwaway, but it wasn't, was when Shadow got back to things, and we had the Fireflies.
Yes.
And Black Crow was like, "Are they friends of yours?" And he's like, "Ah."
Yeah, he doesn't say anything.
I wonder what. Yeah, he didn't actually go dirt, but like, I wonder what it actually means and the significance of that. And I think it may pay off.
It's super good question, because I feel there's definitely something there, because it was weird of Fireflies don't suddenly go hi and then somewhere else. So
Right.
I don't know. It might be a connection to what he is and
He's
who
the
he's
same color
related to.
as Laura's vision of him, the same shade
Right?
of amber.
You know,
Yeah.
maybe they're drawn to his light. So,
Yeah, that's
good
it.
question. Don't know yet. I think. Oh yes, let's do some quick predictions.
Your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Okay, so I think we saw our clip later. I think Technological Boy's gonna die
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
I agree.
because
And I
now it's redundant.
And I think even though this was an aborted attempt, eventually New Media is going to try to break out on their own.
I think that could happen too, because she goes, I can survive just fine on my own. But the way technology changes all the time, it's a little hard to say of what sticks around. So,
Yeah.
and I think Laura will maybe come to terms with it isn't necessarily just Shadow, but I think she would never give up on protecting him.
Sure. That's
Even
fair.
if she goes her own way of like, she'd somehow want to take care of him
Yeah.
in a way. But any other thoughts?
No, that's good. Perfect.
All right. I think that wraps us up for this episode. Again, thank you so much to Kayan Kim for the video. And yes, like I said, pray hard. Leave comments down below. We should get her in studio hopefully soon.
Yeah.
Because that'd be very exciting. And make sure to give video, the thumbs up, click that subscribe button. And where can they find you online, Flobo?
You can find me at Flobo Boyce on Twitter, at Flo Pizza on Instagram, and on Monday night on the Monday Night Raw After Show panel right here on AfterBuzz TV.
Nice. And my name is Kari Lane. You can find me online at Kari D Lane. That's KARIDLANE. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you all next week. Bye.
Hashtag All Gods.
Our founder, Kevin Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.